Hello guys and welcome back to another Tripreport video. This time me and my friends decided to go for another one of those wild journeys. We will be flying Pegasus Airlines for the first time. But Pegasus is not the wild part about this, obviously. The wild part is the destination. We are flying to Kyrgyzstan. Yes, I'm once again, ladies and gentlemen, returning to Central Asia to check out more mountainous regions.
Karakol.
And to fly on some wild aircraft and airlines. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for those videos. Anyways, as I was saying, we're flying to Kyrgyzstan, Bishkek, on Pegasus from Vienna, transferring in Istanbul, of course. Now, as I walk through the airport, here is a brief look into Pegasus Airlines. On December 1st, 1989, two businesses, Net and Silkair, partnered with Aer Lingus to create an inclusive tour charter airline called Pegasus Airlines. Services were inaugurated on 15 April 1990 with two Boeing 737-400s. In Greek mythology, Pegasus is a winged horse. He was born when the hero, Perseus, cut off Medusa's head. He sprang from her severed neck, fathered by Poseidon. Pegasus is capable of flying and is immortal.
Alright, so we have just passed the passport check, and right over here we got planes. We got an Air China A350 and a bunch of visitors and Laudas over there. We still don't have a gate, so we have to wait for a while, and that's the Sun Express right there.
Anyways, as time went on, Pegasus became a full Turkish airline after Aer Lingus sold their stakes to a Turkish bank, and afterwards it transformed from a leisure company to a rather low-cost model. In 2005, Pegasus placed orders for multiple 737-800s, replacing their older 737-400s. Later on, they went to acquire the A320 family of aircraft as well, including the Neos, which dominate their fleet currently. Here is a Pegasus fun fact. In 2018, Pegasus tried to acquire an A380, but later cancelled the order. Nowadays, Pegasus is the second largest Turkish airline, right after Turkish Airlines, of course. Their main hub is Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen, but they also operate flights from bases in Antalya and Ankara. As for our two Pegasus flights today, they are both operated by Airbus A321neo. The second leg to Bishkek was supposed to be an A320neo, but was later changed to the A321neo for some reasons.
So our Pegasus is on approach right now. We probably have a gate already, but still haven't checked. There is a British Airways okay.
So our first leg, an only 2.7-year-old aircraft registered as TC-RBR, will take us to Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen. Soon after, all the passengers that just landed from Istanbul disembarked, and we were ready to board the flight.
Thank you.
There was a funny moment during boarding when we met a very well-known Slovak politician who is a member of the EU Parliament as of filming this video. He flew with us to Istanbul, but I'd rather not mention his onwards journey. Anyways, here we are on board, and I gotta say that the crew here was fantastic. They saw me filming and they were very friendly to us, which is always appreciated. Later during the cruise I even talked to them for a while also. Something I really enjoy is to chat with the crew during the flight if they're nice, and the crew here was very cool, so yeah. By the way, on this flight we were seated in row 14, seats A, B, C.
Okay, the legroom is actually about the same as on Wizz Air. Here is the tray table. It's rather small. Could be compared to Ryanair's one. Here is the contents of the pocket. This is the Pegasus cafe. This is the safety card. An A321, and there is no seat pocket here. You only have this here, and
the cabin was okay. Pretty clean overall. The seat itself looked comfortable upon first look, but after some time sitting and trying to sleep in it, especially during the second leg, I found it actually quite the opposite of that. They also have the option for you to connect to Wi-Fi, which is cool. We're gonna check that out. Well, it didn't work while boarding, which is obvious, but later on I'm gonna explain how this Wi-Fi/entertainment thingy works. Spoiler, it is actually pretty decent.
Vyfarbovačky niekto robil. Ja tam také nemám asi. Trochu, hej. Gukil, Zunon and Lavatory menu. The tastiest menu in the sky. Translated. Alright, so here are the offers. Feel free to stop the video if you like. Cabin crew cross-check.
To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal tag into the buckle and tighten. To unfasten, lift up the metal flap on the buckle and pull apart. For children under 2 years of age, baby belts are distributed by cabin crew. In case of pressure loss, oxygen masks will drop from the panel above your seat. In this case, pull the nearest mask towards you. Place it over your nose and mouth.
For comparison, you got this private jet here, and then this big boy A380. And we are ready for departure.
A few recordings, chats and jokes later with my friends, it was finally time to take off.
Dear guests, we will shortly be starting our Pegasus Cafe service. Menus are available in the seat pockets.
So I once again tried to connect to their Wi-Fi service and I still couldn't figure out how to do it properly because I'm a dumb idiot, but meanwhile I went to check out the toilet in the back and chat with the crew for quite some time.
Alright, so Pegasus so far actually, it's been pretty delightful. The crew is excellent here so far. I'm traveling with two of my friends, two of my classmates from high school, one of which has never actually flown before, so this is his first flight. And one of the cabin crew members was like very cheerful and he was like, yeah, wow, welcome on board, enjoy the flight and stuff like that. I'm not gonna order anything like as for food, so no food mood here on this flight unfortunately, but on our connecting flight to Bishkek I'm gonna probably order some dinner because I'm gonna be hungry, so expect a food mood episode on our Pegasus flight to Bishkek. Here we are in the back galley, I mean in the back, in the rear of the cabin, in the right lavatory, because the lavatories in the Neos are like, imagine like this is the aircraft and right over here this is the rear, this is the left side, this is the right side, and the toilets are on the left side. Both of them are, there are two toilets here, so like this, and so I'm in the one on the right, so yeah, it seems pretty clean. You got your coat hanger obviously, you got your soup, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125 14, 15, 16 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, every following flight I take, the water lastage is longer than on the previous flight. This one here lasted for 16 seconds. 16 straight seconds. That's the new record so far. Okay, you got your napkins here, toilet paper, and the toilet itself is also pretty clean. It's also quite spacious. Not the most spacious toilet I've been in on an airplane, but nice. 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 So we have officially started descending into Istanbul. We are now about the territory of Turkey, 30 minutes away from Istanbul. Istanbul! And we're turning left.
O 500 metrov zamočte vľavo.
Bane hneď pri tom.
Despite the hard touchdown, we landed safely at Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen at around 7 PM local time. My first flight with Pegasus. Overall, I would give it a 9 out of 10. I will do the detailed points breakdown at the end of the second flight. Now, let's disembark, head to the terminal and wait for our connecting flight to Bishkek.
Thanks so much, have a good rest of the day, bye.
But first, we needed to pass the transfer security check. By the way, we still kept on seeing the previously mentioned Slovak politician, as he was running around the airport confused AF. Anyways, after passing the check, we found ourselves inside the terminal of Sabiha Gökçen Airport. We tried the airport Wi-Fi, but it didn't work properly. It just kept on loading and loading and loading. It was just trying to connect so many times, but it just didn't work.
So I'm trying to connect to the Wi-Fi here at Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen Airport and it's not working. I already scanned the passport and received the code, but it won't let me connect to Wi-Fi.
But thankfully our connecting flight was just about an hour away, so the time flew fast and we would soon head to our gate and board the second flight of the day. And for those wondering how the airport itself is like, I will do a review of it in another Pegasus video when we return home from Kyrgyzstan. But for now, I would say that my experience here wasn't as bad as in the other Istanbul new airport. The prices overall were cheaper than there, but still freaking expensive. If you've seen my Turkish Airlines and Air Astana Tripreports from last year when I transferred at that airport, or if you have experienced it yourself, you know what I'm talking about. Also, it seems to be a common thing in Turkish airports. I have nothing against Turkish people, of course, don't get me wrong, but here at this airport they also weren't the friendliest to passengers, at least speaking from my experience. Oh, and by the way, one of my friends barely escaped a 50 € fee for an oversized bag. I mean, that was kind of his fault, but his bag was indeed slightly bigger than it should have been, but regardless, the airport staff wasn't really friendly. But there's one thing I gotta say that I really liked about this airport and really appreciate it. I really like these colored lines on the floor guiding you towards different gate sections. Anyways, here we are boarding the second flight of the day, also an Airbus A321neo. This one is, though, very new, only a few months old. it will take us to Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. For me, it will be the second time in Kyrgyzstan, but for my friends, it will be the premiere in Central Asia.
Hello, good evening. I'm sorry.
Değerli misafirlerimiz, uçağa biniş sürecinin daha hızlı tamamlanması için sırt çantası, küçük el çantası ve laptop çantalarınızı
Tutu.
önünüzdeki
Čo tu cítiť?
Asi palivo.
Že?
No.
Jak to tam vyzerá? Je tam vidno motor alebo dačo? Víro. Čo tam je vidno? Takto, keď to vám...
Tak trošku nejaká špička toho.
No, takto to bude vyzerá. The boarding was fast and we would soon push back, taxi and take off. This second flight was also great. For the most part, I just slept, but before I did that I checked out the in-flight entertainment because I finally found out how it works, and I also ordered a meal, but first the
I just
IFE.
connected to this in-flight Wi-Fi on this Pegasus flight. Last time it didn't work, but it seems like that Wi-Fi it's like not like an actual Wi-Fi internet access. You only have access to this website of theirs where you can access info such as flight info of your current flight. Like we're somewhere in the middle of Turkey right now. You got a selection of entertainment, movies, also the in-flight magazine and the menu, onboard menu catalog, and also city guides. All kinds of cities, which is pretty cool. Games even. News. Oh, but you have to pay for the news. Unlimited access for €4. Alright, okay. Let's check out games. Okay, it's also... Oh, fucking hell. You can watch some movies at least, it seems like. Ani Bratislava tam nie, ja pritom letajú do Bratislavy. So here in the city guide sections you can actually, you got your destination on top, which is in my case is Bishkek. You can see the weather over there. Right now it's -3. When we land it's supposed to be probably the same. And there's like tourist info, general info about, you know, the city. Yeah, you can read through that, and if you haven't done it at home, you can just do it here. I guess find out about the city. You got your cuisine. You got your Kyrgyz cuisine over here. Shopping in Bishkek, souvenirs, nightlife in Bishkek, and so on. As for films, they got a pretty wide selection of a variety of films. You can even choose between 3 languages. You can even do German. Reálne. To si pozrieme cestou naspäť.
So regarding my food, I don't know what the issue was with it, but it was taking them so freaking long. I waited for so long, like my stomach was actually starting to hurt, but you know what? It was actually all totally worth it, because at the end the food exceeded my expectations.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Food Mood. So my food finally arrived after like half an hour delay. So This is actually quite impressive. I mean, I paid 15 euros for this. You got a hot bread. Downy to typical. Nie, to one to zawierają to. Here should be... Co to tam mam? Ja już nie wiem. Meatballs, oh yeah, of course, meatballs with bulgur. Bulgur, some kind of bulgur, some smoked vegetables. Here we have a salad, cucumber salad with olives. Slani sir. Greek cheese, salt cheese, and presumably some Turkish cake. Banger. Also, I just found out that there was a hidden virgin olive oil here, presumably for the salad here. 11 milliliters, wow.
You should drink it.
Oh yeah, shot. Popiczoka. Alright, we're going sleeping. Good night.
Pegasus Airlines, a low-cost airline. Sure, but sometimes throughout the flight I felt like on board a full airline career. Well, to be completely honest, almost. But here is a breakdown of the most important things I noticed, both good and bad. Starting with the good. Price. A factor which definitely plays a big role when choosing what airline to fly. Both flights combined together, they cost me 150 euros per person, which is fantastic. And especially considering that we are going to Asia from Europe. Kind crew. Despite the bad experience at Istanbul airport, which isn't of course Pegasus's fault, the crew on this trip was great, friendly on both flights. Food. This is definitely one of the highlights of this flight. The full meal cost me 15 euros, but it was absolutely worth it, cause it came with the salad and dessert and so on. Cleanliness. Both cabins were pretty clean and nice overall. Aircraft. Something that I felt like adding here is that Pegasus's fleet is now dominated by the fuel-efficient Neo family, which makes the flight experience more comfortable and less noisy with the new, less loud engines. Okay, and here are the bad points. Seats. They were actually okay-ish for the most part, clean, nice looking and so on, but were immensely uncomfortable when I was trying to sleep. I don't know what it was about them, but I couldn't stay seated there for more than an hour. After that time, it started to be a literal pain in the back and ass. Passengers. Some passengers didn't know how to behave on an airplane, especially on the second leg to Bishkek, but again, that's not the airline's fault, but something I wanted to point out as well. And last but not least, the long waiting time after ordering my food. And this is it, guys. Welcome to Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. Hope you enjoyed my review of Pegasus Airlines. Check out more Tripreports I've done in the past, including Central Asia ones, where me and my friends just landed, and stay tuned for some amazing content from Central Asia. Subscribe, like, share. Thank you so much. FJ out.
Crazy.
Fly Dubai, ty kokos.
Normalny let fly Dubai.
Okej. Jaki jazdek.
Thank you for the flight.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
You too.